Good morning, day 92 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days, and went up over Doe Knob in the first few miles this morning, which was the only climb I have this morning over 500 feet. I think I have a few climbs or a few little ups of maybe 100 feet or two at a time, but mostly downhill to Fontana Dam this morning. I started at like 4,500 feet of elevation this morning, and Fontana Dam is at like 2,000 for the dam itself, and then the shelter and town is a little bit further, and I think is a little bit further down. So mostly downhill, but I think there is one more spot where there should be a pretty nice view in about an hour or so. That is off a little side trail, but I think I'm gonna go take it and climb up the fire tower because I heard it's a pretty good view, and it'll be pretty much my last view of the Smokies, so might as well enjoy it. So I'm at the top of the fire tower here on top of Shuckstack, and absolutely incredible views. You can see Lake Fontana down there and the dam that we'll be passing over in just about 2 hours. And wow, he said this is one of the best views in the Smokies, and I would not disagree. So really enjoying it up here, and still got some clouds out there that have yet to kind of burn off, but for the most part it's pretty clear. Usually I don't do these little side quests to the fire towers, but figured here in the Smokies, and this is pretty much one of the last views, because pretty much the rest of the next 5 miles down to Fontana Dam and the shelter is just like straight down, so probably won't see much of anything else. And it said on far out that this was one of the best views, so I figured might as well take a few minutes and enjoy it. Walked right by this thing, didn't even notice it, and he's just chilling there, or she, just eating some nuts, I think. Wow. So walking along the road here, the lake is off to our left, but this little hill is blocking it. Should get some views of the lake coming up soon, and in about half a mile we'll be crossing over the Fontana Dam, which is the tallest dam in the eastern United States. And then less than a mile after that we will be getting to the shelter. Crossing the Fontana Dam now, and pretty nice view out of the lake here. And I might be crazy and you probably can't see it on camera, but way up there I think I can see the Shuckstack fire tower that we climbed this morning. So maybe that's not what that is, but I think that's what that is. So that's pretty neat, and nice view out that way as well. Got some nice clouds in the sky, but nothing that looks too scary. And looking out over the other side of the dam, definitely a pretty tall dam, some sort of power plant down there obviously, and nice little river flowing down there, so that's pretty cool. So I'm not quite to the Fontana Hilton, but I stopped at the bathroom here, and they have outlets in there and a shower. So I took a shower and washed out a pair of socks and underwear a little bit, and a little trash can here. So I threw out my trash, and we're gonna head down the trail a little bit, and the shelter should be just ahead a little bit. And that is the Fontana Hilton down there. It's a nice shelter, got some picnic tables with a view of the lake and trash cans as well, which is always a plus. But the AT heads off down here back into the woods for a bit, and in just over a mile I'll reach Fontana Dam Road, which leads into the town of Fontana Dam, about 2 miles, where I'll be going to get my resupply. So hopefully I can get a hitch without too much of an issue. So on the road now, walking towards Fontana Dam, and so far only one car has passed me going into town, so might be a bit of a walk, but we'll see how it goes. There have been a number of motorcycles already, and a few more cars have passed me going the other direction, so at least if I can't hitch this way, maybe I'll be able to hitch the other way out of town when I'm going back to the trail. So here at Fontana Dam, the general store and the post office is kind of in the same building. So stopped in, got my resupply package, and then stopped in the general store, and they didn't have any ice cream, which I was very disappointed at. But I did get bought a bag of combos and a jar of peanut butter and some little cupcakes. They were like these peanut butter cupcakes. Those were pretty good. Bought the jar of peanut butter because I only got one jar in the resupply, and for 5 days 2 jars is better. I'm not sure why I didn't have 2 jars in that box, but if I only have 1 jar, that's really only enough for the peanut butter pepperoni tortillas for 5 days. And I like putting the peanut butter on those Belvita crackers. Partly it tastes good, partly, it just gets me more calories. So, but the jar of peanut butter was $6. I was like, holy cow, that's an expensive jar of peanut butter. But this is a little like resort town, so there's the Fontana Village, which is kind of like a resort around here. So I guess that's probably why it's expensive. But there's a little gas station up here, so I'm gonna see if they have any ice cream there. Got a little ice cream bar here at the Fontana pit stop. So back on trail here, and didn't get a hitch either way, so that was an extra 4.4 miles total of walking on the road, but not the end of the world. I made it back to the AT at 2:50, and from there it's 5.5 miles to the Cable Gap shelter for the night, and still about 5 miles to go now, just a few minutes after 3 o'clock. So hopefully I'll get there around 5 o'clock. Of course, there is a lot of uphill, about 2,000 feet in total of elevation gain, and that's always how it goes for the most part when you get out of town with a full pack of resupply, is you got a bunch of climbing. And I mean, it makes sense. Most towns are at a lower elevation, in some kind of gap or saddle per se. So you gotta climb back up into the mountains a little bit, but it just sucks a little bit mentally because you just got a bunch of weight added to your pack. In my case, I think 11 or 12 pounds of food. That's 5 days. So you got a bunch of weight added to your pack, and then you gotta go uphill a bunch. So it's not really that bad, but it seems like it's gonna be awful when you look at it and you're in the moment. But you know, only really an hour or so of climbing, and then there's some down and some more up, but shouldn't be the end of the world. So this is the Cable Gap shelter, which is apparently one of the oldest shelters on the AT. Was built in the 1930s from what I read. So definitely not staying in there. It's got like a tarp on the roof and stuff, but got the tent set up over there. And there's a nice little stream here for water and a privy nearby, so it's a pretty nice place here. In the tent for the night, and definitely glad that I did the extra 3 miles yesterday, because I got to the shelter just before 5 o'clock today. So if I hadn't done those miles, it would have been more like 6 o'clock that I got to the shelter. So yeah, glad I did those extra miles yesterday. In terms of miles on the trail, only did 18.6 today, but stopped, at the Fontana Dam shelter for that shower, and then had to walk basically an extra 4.4 miles on the road to get into Fontana Dam and back out, and then was in town a little bit, getting my resupply and eating some food and stuff like that. So at the Cable Gap shelter here at mile 2038.0, and that is in the future now. So I guess we are done with the history trivia. Overall, I am disappointed in how I did. I thought I would do better, and I didn't really come up with all that many good, notable historical events that happened in the years. But I have enjoyed reading the comments and learning from you guys of your knowledge, and I'm sure some of what you're sharing you have researched, but it's still good to learn and hear from you guys. So did get some ice cream today, which I was happy with, and I think I should be able to get some tomorrow at the Nantahala Outdoor Center, which I'll be passing towards the end of the day. So looking forward to that as well.